Okay, hi everyone. We're going to start today in a standing position and you're going to grab your resistance bands. So if you don't have a resistance band, you can just place the hands onto the ribs. Otherwise, if you're happy to wrap the band, make sure it's quite wide and then you want to wrap it around the lower ribs. So the back of the body, so that you've got it around the lower ribs, not like too high up to the shoulder blades and not too low down that it's on the lower back. But somewhere in between. And then you're going to cross the band in front. So you're holding like the left side in the right hand, right side in the left hand. And then just settling into a comfortable standing position. So bringing the feet underneath the hip bones, spreading the toes, softening the knees, feeling this grounding, not just down through one foot, but see if you can equalize the weight between the feet, forward and back as well. So we've got the balls of the feet grounding and the heels equally, toes spread out and relaxed, shoulders dropping down away from the ears. Just closing the eyes when you've got your balance. If you find that tricky, you can have the eyes open, obviously. Feeling this grounding down through both feet, but also that rebound all the way up through the body, up through the crown of the head, relaxing the facial muscles around the eyes. And as we settle into stillness in this standing position, as we start to notice the breath coming in and against the rib cage. And particularly the lower ribs coming against the band. Quite often I talk about the belly breath, as we breathe, but this is really more about understanding how the breath affects all sides of the body. So we've got the lower ribs expanding to the front, but also out to the sides and to the back of the body. I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but we have more capacity in the back of the lungs than we do in the front. So we actually breathe more into the back body, and often we don't use that enough. And so just creating an awareness of the breath coming into the back as well as the sides, the front. And then on the next exhale, we're going to breathe into the band. And then exhale, we're going to start to pull the hands apart gently to squeeze the rib cage to allow the air to move out, and then breathe in, allow the band to relax, the hands come back towards one another. Exhale, we're using the hands to draw apart, feeling that resistance increasing around the lower ribs, that pressure, and then breathe in, breath comes in, hands move back towards one another. Just doing a few rounds of this, just getting used to this opening into the lower ribs and using the muscles in between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, to really getting them moving. Imagine this like an accordion, kind of, like coming out, expanding into the lower ribs, and then softening back to center on the exhales. And I want you to feel, rather than the hands driving this movement and forcing it, that the breath is actually instigating this. The breath comes in, then the hands respond. And so we really are starting to tune into this movement of the breath, how it affects the diaphragm, how it affects the lower ribs. And hopefully you might feel that you're breathing a little bit deeper. Okay. So making this the last one. And then you're going to pop the band to the floor. And just going to do some neck rolls. So we're going to bring the chin to the chest, rolling the head around to one side, opening into the side, then maybe taking the head all the way around for those circles if you want to, or just doing the half circles, avoiding taking the head all the way back. Maybe you want to take the head over to one side and then forward, over to the other side, doing what feels comfortable for you. But try to see if you can let the weight of the head really relax, so really opening its tension into the front, sides. Good. And if you're doing full circles, going the other way, making sure you're doing an even amount on both sides. Okay, lovely. And then bringing the head forward, fingertips onto the shoulders, breathe in, bring the elbows together, opening wide out to the side, shoulder blades squeeze together. You're bringing the elbows down. And again, breathing in, opening out across the chest as you take the elbows back. Lovely. And again. All right, and then we're going to go the other way. Inhale, coming down, opening out. Exhale to close. And again, breathing in, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Exhale, taking them apart. One more time. Lovely. Right arm comes down. Let's take the left arm up, reach tall, push down through that left foot, coming up and over as we slide the right fingertips down the leg. Open the chest up, like you're in between two panes of glass with the body. So maybe don't come over so far if you find you're collapsing the chest forward. Engage the core, push down through the feet as you come up and comes down. Other side, breathing in, reaching tall, find that length through the side body, and then coming over for your lateral stretch. Once you've got that length, right foot pushing into the floor, reaching up and over with the right arm, breathing into the side body. Lovely, everyone. Good. And then core engaged, coming up. Okay. And then we're going to soften these. Let's grab hold of our band again and have it in front. We're going to have the band in between the thumb and the forefingers of the hands, slightly wider than shoulder width. You sort of get a sense of what the right resistance is when we come into this. So soft knees, tall spine, take a breath in. Exhale, we're going to take the arms wide to bring the band in towards the breastbone, opening the chest and squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then inhale, coming forward. Exhale. Opening out. Good. Inhale, coming forward. Slowly with control. Really controlling this movement. Shoulders down away from the ears. Opening through the collarbones. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. All right. And then coming forward slowly with control. Good. And then coming up above the head. And we're going to have the hands slightly wide in the shoulder width. Again, reaching through the fingers and thumbs. Take a breath in and exhale. We're going to bring the elbows down to a cactus position. And we're going to place the band onto the head as we draw the elbows down. And you might feel you want more resistance and you can tighten the band there if you want to. As you come down into that cactus position with the arms, you're going to place the band on top of the head, draw the elbows down, feel the shoulders engaging, the muscles underneath the armpits as well. Breathing in, reaching out tall. Exhale, coming down. Pushing, pulling the band down, pushing the head against the band. And then one more time, breathing in. Exhale, coming down. Make sure the chest is open, yeah? We're not collapsing forward with the elbows, keeping them broad and wide. Lovely, coming up. This time I'm going to widen the band a little bit, bring the hands down so that they're behind the shoulder blades. Let's take a breath and keep the pelvis very stable. And exhale, we're going to turn towards the right, twisting and pulsing for 1, 2, 3. Inhale back to center, keep the pelvis very stable. Exhale, other side. 1, 2, 3. Keeping arms wide. So don't bring the arms in, keeping them wide, just a little bit of rotation in the spine, keeping that pelvis facing forward. Good. Let's do one more on either side. Pulsing it for 3 little pulses there. Before inhale, come back to center, and then exhale out the way. All right, fantastic. Then we're going to bring this right arm up, and we're going to bring the left arm down. Bend the elbow, have the band behind, so that the hand is on the lower back, and that we've got this upper arm quite close to the ear. And then we're just going to stretch the arms apart. One arm going up, one arm reaching down, and then coming back to that starting position. Now you might want a tighter pull on the band. If you feel that wasn't enough, you can always go a little bit tighter with the arms, stretching apart, and then releasing. So we're working both arms now, opposite pull of direction. Keeping the arms in towards the body as you extend. All right, we'll do one more. All right, and then releasing, bringing the other arm up, Other arm comes down, bending the elbow, back of the hand, kind of the lower back, and then extending away, and then bending both elbows, extending away. Stay open across the chest here and try not to arch the rib cage forward. Try to avoid that popping of the lower ribs forward. Keep the lower ribs in. You're taking whatever resistance on the band feels good for you today. Okay, we'll do one more. All right, and release. Pop the band to one side. Shake out the hands, moving fingers, moving thumbs, whatever you feel you need to do, stretching out, clenching, and then make your way to the top of your mat. Okay, so we'll have the feet hip distance. We're going to soften the knees. Take a breath in here. And exhale, tuck the chin. And I really want you to let the weight of the head draw you down. Slowly we'll start to roll down through the spine. Take your time with this, especially because it's, if you're practicing on the replay in the morning with us, in the morning, we've got to be really careful with our spines. You might feel a bit stiff after the night's sleep. Take a breath in while you're down there. Exhale, slowly rolling up. So do bend the knees as much as you need to. Breathing in, the head is the last thing to come up. What we're going to do now is we're going to move into some sun salutation. So arms by the side of the body, palms facing in, shoulders roll back. Breathing in, we're going to take the arms out and out. Lift through the center of the chest, palms into prayer above the head. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, dive forward. Hands come down. Fingertips onto the shins or on the floor, or the shoulders back. Breathing in, gazing forward. Exhale to fold over the legs. Hands coming down, we'll take right foot back into a high lunge, push down through both feet as you lift the upper body, arms coming up. We're going to interlace, actually we take a pistol grip with the hands. So index fingers together, but other fingers and thumbs interlaced. Breathe in, we're going to reach up tall, actively engage the back leg. Reach up and come over to the left a little bit to get more length in that right side, all the way down the front of the hip there to the thigh, all the way up through the side of the waist, the ribs, the arm. Breathing, slowly coming back to center with control. Hands come down, front foot comes back into plank pose. Either knees up or knees down, your choice. But find that length through the spine, find that engagement with the core, the slight tuck under the tailbone. Pushing up between the shoulder blades, the right amount just to get that engagement. Sliding the shoulders down away from the ears. Feeling like you're squeezing your satsumas underneath the armpits. Shoulder girdle engaged there. Good breathing. Okay, great. You can lower the knees first as we lower down onto the belly. Take a breath in, hinge forward. Bend the elbows into the side of the waist as you exhale, slowly lower down. Good. Tops of the feet into the floor, engage the legs, engage kneecaps and thighs, pubic bone grounding. Breathing in to find length, and exhale, coming into your baby cobra, or sphinx pose, whatever works. Elbows into the side of the body, tops of the shoulders away from the floor. Length in the back of the neck, length through the legs. Take another breath in, maybe lifting a little bit higher. Exhale, lowering down, tuck the toes, hands and knees push into the floor, lifting into your downward dog. First downward dog. Let's pedal out the feet here. One heel comes down as the other heel lifts. Okay, good. Pushing both heels down, pushing both hands down. Let's take a breath in and exhale, lifting the hips high. We're going to walk the feet to the front of the mat one by one foot at a time, coming forward, folding over those legs. Breathing in, push down through the feet, arms come out and up to the ceiling. Lift the chest. Exhale, hands into prayer. And again, breathing in, arms come out and up. Lift through the center of the chest. Exhale to dive forward, hinging at the hips. Fingertips wherever as you come into that tabletop position. Make sure that you've got nice length through the spine. Lifting the chest, lovely. Exhale, fold over the legs. Hands come down, left foot back. Push down through both feet, coming up. Let's take that pistol grip again with the index fingers together, Other fingers and thumbs interlaced. Square the hips here. Breathe in to lift long through the body. Exhale, coming over to the right this time, finding that length in the whole left side. Relax the shoulders though. So we've got maximum length. We're dropping into this front knee. The back leg is active, but we're feeling this sense of reaching up and out, up towards the ceiling. And then slowly coming back with control. Hands come back, down into plank. Good, knees can be down or up. Find that length through the back of the head. So we've got the shoulder girdle engaged. We've got the core engaged, like tucking under the tailbone. If you're lifting the knees, the legs are really pushing up towards the ceiling, pushing back through the heels. And the back of the head is pushing into the ceiling a little bit. Find that length in the neck. Take another breath in. Shift forward. Elbows coming in as you lower down. Exhale all the way down. Use the arms. Lovely. Tops of the feet into the floor. Pubic bone grounding. Breathe in to find length. Exhale to lift. Smooth, steady breaths. If you're in baby cobra, for those who wish to challenge, you can hover the hands away from the floor a little bit. Feel how the core works a lot harder. Keeping the body up. Tops of the feet grounding. Good, and then we'll place the hands down. We'll lower down, tuck the toes, take a breath in. Exhale, lift through the hips. Downward dog. Relax the shoulders. Pushing heels down, thighs back. Getting that sense of length up through the spine. Good, everyone. Smooth breaths. And then we'll take a breath in and exhale, coming down to child pose. Let's lower the knees down, sitting back into child. Take a pause, relax the arms, relax the head down, opening out into the back body. All right, so we'll start to roll the spine up. Head is the last thing to come up. So we're restacking the vertebra one by one. And then we're gonna pop the bottom over to one side when you're done. Bring the feet round to the front. And we'll do a little bit of work with the abdominals here. So feet in front, feet, knees, hips in line. We're gonna imagine we've got a cushion between the thighs. We're engaging there. And the arms are gonna come up. We're gonna relax the shoulders down away from the ears. We're sitting as tall as we can on those sit bones, reaching up through the crown of the head. Take a breath in and exhale. We're gonna tuck under with the pelvis. We're gonna lean back. We're gonna hold it there for a moment, just feeling the core engage. Imagine you've got your cushion here, you're squeezing between the thighs. Keep breathing. And then we're gonna take another breath in and exhale, sitting up tall. Breathing into pause here, relax those shoulders. Exhale, tuck under again with the lower, with the pelvis, lower back rounding, drawing the navel back towards the spine, but the shoulders are back. The rest of the spine is nice and long. Breathing here. Okay, on the next in-breath, we're gonna sit nice and tall. I'm gonna breathe in as we bring the arms up alongside the ears. And then exhale, we're gonna take the arms out to the side, sweep them around as we lean back again, bring back into our abdominals. Good. Breathe in, we're gonna sit tall, arms come up alongside the ears, reach up. Exhale out to the side, leaning back, sweeping the arms around and forward again. Good. Breathing in, sitting up tall. Exhale, arms come out and down, holding there. So we've got this engagement of the lower belly towards the spine. You're feeling the front hip flexors working to hold you up there. Imagine we've got our cushion between the thighs. Taking one more breath in, coming up. Exhale, arms come down. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little bit of roll downs, but you have the option. So you can either use the band around the feet and do those regular roll downs like that. If you want to work a little bit harder, you can come with me as we maybe hold the band, kind of double it over, and then holding it between the hands about shoulder width. So you can use that resistance, pulling the band apart to add on a little bit more effort here. And if you don't have a band, you can do this without the band. Yeah. So flex the feet, engage the thighs, sitting up nice and tall, take a breath in, and exhale. We're going to tuck under with the pelvis and slowly trying to keep those heels exactly where they are. Try to keep the legs stable, squeezing legs and feet together, tucking under, slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time. Breathing in as the head comes down, arms come overhead on the exhale. Breathe in, arms come up. Exhale, tuck the chin, peeling one vertebra at a time. Lower ribs coming into the abdominals, slowly, slowly squeeze those legs and feet together, slowly making your way up. And then we're going to round forward as if we've got a big beach ball here. We're rounding over, draw the navel back. You can bend the knees if you need to. So tight hamstrings, you can always bend the knees. Breathe in, sitting tall, shoulders back. Exhale, tuck under, rolling down. So as I said, you can do this with the band around the feet. So if you need to do that variation, that's absolutely fine. Slowly, slowly making your way down, arms come up. Exhale, arms come over. Breathing in, arms come up. Exhale, tuck the chin, peeling slowly, bringing those lower ribs into the abdominal wall. Connection there. Keep the legs and the feet together. Squeeze like you've got one leg. So that can sometimes help me, that feeling of sort of like you've got just one leg glued together and grounded down. But whatever works for you. If you find it easier to have the feet slightly apart, that's okay too. You know, this is your practice. Find what works for you. But this is really all about the core. So everything in the lower body is staying glued to the floor to help you focus on this core engagement. Okay, great. All right, we're going to make this the last round. We're going to do one more. Good. If you're rolling forward, yeah, really draw that navel back like you've got a big beach ball you're rounding over. And then slowly rolling down. Let's roll down 10 times as slowly now. So really, really slow it down. Breathe as you go. So keep just naturally breathing, but see if you can really slow down the articulation of the spine. And then when you're ready, head comes down, arms come overhead. Let's release the band and we'll take just a little bit of a full stretch here, lifting the rib cage, arching into the spine. And then we're going to place the right foot on the floor. We're going to flex that left foot. So the left leg is long, foot is flexed. Hands are going to come behind the head now, gently interlacing the fingers, resting them behind the skull there. Elbows wide, shoulders down, take a breath in. And exhale, we're going to lift the center of the chest, bring those lower ribs again into the abdominals to help lift you up. So feeling that engagement there. Take a breath in, legs are really still. Exhale, we're going to curl up and over, left shoulder blade towards the right thigh. Breathe in to come back to a hover, and exhale, curl up and over. We're just rotating the spine. The feeling of like the rib cage coming across towards that thigh. So if it feels hard to picture the shoulder blade coming across, just picture the rib cage coming across. But it's a rotational action. We're not hiking the side of the waist. So just make sure that there's no kind of side movement. You know, there's no shortening of the right side of the waist. Both sides of the waist are staying the same length. And there's just a lift and then a rotation in the spine. Good. All right. We're going to do 3 more. Great. Keep that left foot flexed. So actively engaging the heel into the floor is going to help stabilize you. Okay, excellent. Making the next one your last one. And then we're going to extend that right leg out, bend the left knee this time. Right foot stays flexed. Take a breath in. Exhale, peel up and over towards the left knee this time. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, curl up and curl over. Hips are staying very stable. Legs aren't moving, hips aren't moving. There's just this upper body rotation. That's all that's happening. And it doesn't need to be a huge movement to feel the work. So you should be feeling the side of the obliques engaging here as you rotate. Good. Yeah, good. Sarah, keep those elbows a little wider if you can. I know it's tempting to bring the elbow across. I want you to really think more about the rib cage moving rather than the elbow. So again, it doesn't need to be a huge movement to feel the work. Great. Yeah. Good. And then you want that feeling of slight lift as well. So as well as the rotation, there's a feeling of lifting from the breastbone, lifting those shoulder blades away from the floor a little bit. Good. All right, let's do 2 more. All right, and then resting down. All right, gonna hug the knee into the chest and then the other knee, and just rocking side to side, just loosening tension there. All right, and then we're going to roll up. So if you know that's tricky for you, just come over onto your side and make your way up to sitting. Otherwise, hands at the back of the legs, lift the legs, tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis, rolling like a ball, using all of that core stability we've just been working on. Breathing in, maybe taking it back. Do a few of these, because let's be honest, they're quite fun. See if you want to challenge the abdominals more here, have the heels staying closer in towards the body. And just see if, that's quite a lot harder for the core, but it's a good challenge if you feel this is too easy, for the core. Keep the heels sort of closer in the whole way through, and it really does charge up the core. Good. All right. So we'll come into a kneeling position. And from here, let's do a little bit of a lunge. So we'll bring that right foot forward. We'll drop down with the hands for a low lunge. Now, breathing into it, we want to level the hips. You can always use blocks for support if you find that it's tricky to get the hands down. But drawing the chest forward, collarbones broad, breathing here. All right, and then we're going to push this foot into the floor to bring the hands onto the thigh. So place the right hand into the right hip crease. We're going to roll that hip back. The left hand, the back of the left hand is going to rest on the outside of this right leg. So the back of the hand there, we've got the other hand pulling the right hip back. Take a breath in to reach nice and tall through the chest, so we've got long spine. And exhale, we'll start to bend into this front knee as we twist and slide this left arm down the leg a little bit, looking back to the back of the room. If you want to stay there, you can. For those who have the flexibility to come down with the upper arm on the outside of the leg, you can bring the hands into prayer. I'll just demonstrate that on the other side if you're confused. So hands are pushing into prayer, elbow pushing into the leg. And then if you want to challenge your balance even more, tuck the back toes under and lift that back knee. So the back leg can be engaged and lifted as you twist. There's a lot of energy in the legs and the arms here. There's a binding in and a turning and a rotation with the spine. But don't forget about the back leg. If you've got it lifted, engage it, push back through the heel. Great, take another breath in. Exhale, slowly lowering the back knee down. Hands come down. And we're going to transition into a side plank here. So we're going to plant the right hand down onto the floor, roughly underneath the shoulder, have the fingers and thumbs spread out. And then if you want to do a side plank, you're going to so the back knee, if it's down, you can just take a side plank. For those who wish to do a sort of more advanced side plank, lift the back knee, pivot onto the outer edge of that foot and take the other foot on top. So options here, lift through the waist, arm coming up, shoulders engaged, down away from the ears. Yeah, good. Nice transition, Sue. Yeah, great, lovely. Turning the gaze upwards if you find that helpful. Breathe, engage the legs, lift through the hips, and then slowly we'll transition back into plank pose, lowering the knees down. All right, lifting the body. Let's do that on the other side. Left foot comes forward, coming down for your lunge, chest coming forward, relaxing the shoulders. All right, and then we're going to push down into this foot as you lift the body up. Hands on the thigh. Left hand, left hip crease, turn that left. So really getting in with the index finger into that hip crease, pull it back. Other hand on the outside of that leg, reach tall through the chest. Exhale, slowly sliding down into your twist as you glance back. Now you can keep the arm straight, or if you have the ability to come down, upper arm bone, pushing hands into prayer, maybe lifting that back leg. Drop deeper into this front knee as we soften into the knee, and then this sort of actively engaged back leg, pushing back through the heel, turning the chest. Breathing, engaging, arms, legs. Good, and then slowly lowering the back knee if you've got it lifted, hands coming down. Again, we're going to transition into our side plank. So I think I've got my left and rights confused on the other side. Apologies. So just making sure you're doing the side plank, the opposite side to what you've done it. So maybe if you didn't have the right hand down, coming into this variation now. Sorry, I think I got confused with my sides there. So coming into whatever variation you did on side plank on the other side. So shoulders down away from the ears, stacking the feet, or maybe just having those knees bent. Good. Turning the gaze up towards the ceiling, tucking the chin. Awesome. All right, breathing. Great, everyone. All right. And then slowly coming back into plank. Really nice. Let's lift the hips and stretch into a downward dog. Or child pose, your choice. You know, child pose would feel like a better option. That's fine. Relax the shoulders. Okay. Great. Take a breath in. And exhale, we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet. One by one. Let's fold over the legs. Soften those knees. And letting the body just hang over the legs. Maybe holding elbows, maybe working side to side a little bit to loosen that tension. Maybe taking the head side to side, forward and back. Whatever moves will feel nice here. Letting the weight of the body hang down. All right, I'm going to release the arms now if you've got them held. Bring the big toes together to touch, heels just slightly like an inch apart. Squeeze the knees together. We're going to bend the knees, engage the core, straight spine as we breathe in, reach the arms forward, sit back into your chair pose. Squeeze those knees and thighs together. Relax the shoulders. My arms can be alongside the ears or forward or cactus, whatever works. Try to keep the length in the spine though. This feeling of the lower ribs coming in, length in the lower back, flaring the sit bones behind. Take another breath in and exhale, push down through the feet, coming up to standing. Arms come out and down. All right, so let's come into tree pose on the block. So if you've got a block, great. If not, you can use stack of books or if you don't have anything, you can do this without as well. All right, so popping the left foot on the block, pushing down through the foot, hands to the hips, and then we're just going to swing this other leg forward and back. So it said you can do this without the props, that's okay. And then maybe taking figure eights with this leg or circles. Find your focus, find your balance, resting the gaze on something still. Relax the breath, and then going the other way. Good. And then we'll come into tree pose. So resting the foot onto the calf or the foot onto the thigh. Push down through this left foot. Relax the toes. Maybe bring the hands into prayer, center the chest, or maybe hands higher up. Find a steady gaze. Good. And slowly bring the hands down and we'll release the foot. Coming off the block if you want it, shaking out the legs. And then we'll do the other side. So popping the other foot on the block this time. Hands to the hips. And forward and back with the leg. Keeping the upper body fairly stable, just loosening into that hip joint. So there's this sense of length and kind of up through the whole body, but also this kind of letting go of effort into that hip socket. The leg is just hanging, it's just really loose. And then taking those circles or figure eights, whatever would feel good. But the other leg is nice and stable. The other leg is steadying you. So see if you can sense that different tone in both legs. And then we'll go the other way with whatever you're doing. Got one leg very sturdy, very stable, and the other leg very relaxed. And then coming into tree pose, whatever variation of tree feels helpful for you. Make sure that the hip isn't sinking over to the side. Keep that hip in, ground down through the foot more, lift up through the head more. That soft gaze. Hands can come up if you wish. For those who wish it to have a more challenging balancing experience, you can try closing the eyes. Smooth, steady breaths. Go bring the hands down. Releasing the leg. Shaking out the legs. Lovely. All right, and then we're just going to come into a quad stretch. So placing one hand around the foot, creating a slight tucking under action in the pelvis, if that would be helpful. One hand or both hands. You can always use something for support, wall or a chair as well. All right, and then we'll release the side. All right, and then release. Great, let's pop the block, whatever you've got, to one side. And we'll come nice and wide with the feet. And we'll take a triangle pose. So we'll turn this left foot out, heel in line with heel. And then we're going to breathe, we're going to take the arms out, breathe in to reach forward, take this top hip over with us. And then a hand comes down, other arm comes up. And then turning the chest. You have the option to stay there. If you want to, you can take the hand behind, maybe getting the hand into the hip crease or onto the top of that thigh to turn yourself around more. If you can't get the hand round into the hip crease or on the thigh, you can just have the hand on the lower back, and it's just a sense of opening the chest more, turning open. Push both feet strongly into the floor. Find more length through both sides of the waist. And turn with each exhale, more rotation. Take another breath in, exhale. Arms comes up, and then we're gonna bring ourselves back up. Good, turning those toes in, turning the other toes out. Ground down through the feet, reach forward with the arm. Top hip comes over, hand comes down. Turning the chest, relaxing the shoulders, glancing up. If you did on the other side, just take the arm down, maybe hold hand on the lower back of the hand, lower back, or reaching into that hip crease or onto the thigh and turning yourself open more, finding more rotation. Find more length in the spine to feel we can soften open more, we can turn and rotate more. And then we'll release the arm. And on the exhale, push down through the feet, core engaged, come up. Let's turn the toes in, hands to the hips, lift through the chest. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward, diving forward, hands coming down, or maybe onto a block if you need it, under the hands. Dropping the chest down. Letting the head relax completely. And we'll bring the hands onto the hips, take a breath in. Exhale, push down through the feet, coming up with the body. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to add on a bind. So we're going to take the hands back, interlacing fingers and thumbs. You can use a strap. In fact, a lot of people might benefit from having a strap between the hands instead. If you feel you find it tricky to squeeze the shoulder blades together and keep them squeezed together. Take a breath in. to lift the chest, lift those kneecaps and thighs. Exhale, coming forward, arms coming up, maybe coming over, squeezing shoulder blades, lengthen the back of the neck. Keep squeezing those shoulder blades, lifting the shoulders away from the floor and then just softening the arms over as much as feels comfortable. Take another breath in and exhale. Straight spine, use the arm to pull yourself back up to ground down through the feet. Nice. Release the arms, scooch the feet in. And we'll do some shoulder rolls, just releasing tension there. I'm going to drop the left ear towards the left shoulder. If you feel you want to reach away through the heel of the opposite hand, you can, to create that side stretch. All right, and then releasing that other ear to the other shoulder, maybe pushing again down through the heel of the opposite hand to create more of a stretch into the neck. And then release. And then we'll just take the head side to side. All right, lovely. So let's just actually do one more stretch before we come down. Left arm comes up, bend the elbow, either holding the elbow back, or you can take the arm down and bind the hands or use a strap, like Gomukasana. Do make sure that the rib cage isn't just flaring forward. Keep the lower ribs from popping forward, keeping them back and in. And finding a relaxation in both shoulders so we can really open across the collarbones more. And then release. And I'll take the other arm, coming up, bending the elbow, hand comes down, other arm comes out, down. Relaxing shoulders. Okay, good. Releasing that. So what I want to offer is figure four pose in a standing position, which can be quite a nice hip stretch. If you know that this just doesn't feel, it feels too challenging for you, come onto your back and do it on your back as we would usually. But if you want to have a go, we're going to take the weight over onto the left foot and have the right foot, the ankle, heel onto the left thigh. And then you're sort of sitting the hips back, almost like a chair pose as you bring the arms forward. Now do flex the foot, engage that foot, sitting back and down. And you can also do this against a wall as well, if you want to. If you feel happy to, so if you're happy here, stay here. If you want to bend the standing leg knee more, and you bring the hands down onto the floor, onto blocks as well works, you can get more out of the hip stretch side of it. So it's less of a balancing pose and more of a hip stretch, but that might feel too much for some people. Just see how you go. You can do either of those variations. Good. And then slowly we'll start to bring ourselves back up. Ooh, I always feel that's quite an intense hip stretch, but quite like it. Other side. So foot against thigh. Know that you can come to a wall with the bottom if you need to. Sitting the hips back, or you can come onto the floor and just do a regular figure four. So balancing pose first. So reaching the arms forward, showing it from the side. It looks a little bit like this. You're sitting the hips back, you're reaching the arms forward, and then bending the standing leg knee more to come down with the hands and getting more into the hip stretch. That's up to you, whether that would feel helpful. Breathing into it. All right, and then slowly releasing. Okay, so coming down onto the floor, you can come down through a squat if you want to, or come onto your back and do happy baby pose. Either of those options are fine. Won't be here for very long, but just taking a bit of a stretch out for the lower back, the hips, and then coming down, sitting ourselves down. All right, so grab what you need for warmth now. Jumpers, socks, get your layers on, and we'll all meet onto our backs. Hugging the knees in, rocking side to side. As always, we'll take a very brief Shavasana here today. So we'll pop the bottom over to the left side of the mat. Quick twist before we do so. Knees over to the right, arms extended. Maybe glancing in the other direction. Breathing into the belly. And then coming up, we'll go to the other side, bottom over to the right, knees into the chest, knees to the left. Deep breaths. And we'll draw the knees up, feet on the floor, and either coming into legs long or knees bent. Or if you'd rather take your final pose in a seated position for meditation, go for it. We'll just have a couple of minutes, otherwise just a couple of minutes lying onto our backs. Getting yourself comfortable, making any last minute adjustments, letting tension release. And if you're still lying onto your back, feel free to stay there if you wish. But if you'd like to join us for the meditation portion, slowly making your way up to a seated position, sitting tall, getting comfortable using whatever props would feel helpful underneath the sit bones. Settle into this stillness. Soften the belly. Relax the whole body. Sensing that natural expansion and contraction of the breath in the body. With each exhale, we're emptying the body, carrying away waste and fatigue. And with each inhale, we're nourishing, filling the body up with sense of well-being, nourishing every cell in the body from head to toe. with this breath, this smooth, unbroken stream of breath, this effortless flow. Taking the awareness to the crown of the head, relaxing at the crown of the head, releasing tension there. And feel that sense of softening, moving down into the face, the jaw, the neck, chest, across the shoulders, down through the arms, hands, fingers, thumbs. A sense of softening traveling down the front of the chest, to the belly, to the pelvis, down through the thighs, the calves, tops of the feet, toes. And sense that feeling of softening, like warmth through the body, moving up through the soles of the feet, backs of the calves, backs of the thighs, the buttocks, moving up from the lower back, middle back, upper back, back of the neck, and moving up to the crown of the head again. The whole body relaxed, this feeling of warmth and ease pervading the whole body. Introduce the mantra So Hum with the breath. On each inhale, imagining, hearing the sound So. And on each exhale, the sound Hum. So on each inhale, hum on each exhale. This mantra, which means I am that. I am not my thoughts, I'm not my emotions, I'm not my responsibilities, the roles I play. I'm not even really this physical body. I am pure consciousness. I am pure awareness. The sense of your true self underneath all these layers. So hum. We're going to begin to travel this mantra now, starting at the base of the spine. So take the awareness to the base of the spine, and as you breathe in, imagine the mantra So traveling up through the spine, all the way up to the crown of the head, and then the mantra Hum down through the spine, coming back to where you started, the base of the spine. So as you travel up the spine, maybe coming all the way to the crown of the head, And then exhale, move down along the spine, back down to the base. Feeling this mantra like a lift through the body, moving up, moving down. Now we're going to give more space to the visualization now. Imagining the mantra, the breath traveling up in front of the body, like a big oval shape coming up over the crown of the head, behind the body, continuing that circular motion as you're being encircled by the mantra, by the breath down underneath the pelvis. So we're coming up with the inhalation, so over the head. Exhale behind the body, behind the pelvis, and then underneath the pelvis as it circles back up. Feel yourself being encircled by this mantra, by this breath. Feeling yourself being nourished at the same time. So, hum. Letting the mantra go now. And sensing this quiet presence of being, allowing thoughts to come and go. As you move on with your day to day, know that you can come back to this feeling of quiet ease that resides within all of us. Bringing the palms together, and we'll rub the palms together, creating heat between the hands. Placing the hands cupped over the eyes, taking in that heat. Let's take a breath in through the nose, deep breath. And exhale with a sigh. Letting go of the practice. Bringing the palms together. Namaste.